Hey there, this is Mimi again and welcome to Mimi's Kitchen. Today I will show you how to cook pot roast. Look at this bad boy. This is right here is the most amazing comfort southern food that I love it. I love to cook this pretty much every week. So this is what we need to prepare this recipe. Of course we need the meat, the right kind of meat. We need a roast variety of meat. This is the venison roast meat that I'm using, but you can definitely use beef roast. And these are the stuff that we will be using to cook this recipe. We have chicken broth, salt and pepper to taste, olive oil, or you can use vegetable oil or canola oil. Either of that is gonna work. I'm also using 1 packet of ranch seasoning. That's going to just add so much of flavor to this recipe. Then we have this onion dip mix. This is so good, the onion soup dip mix. You can find this in Walmart or any grocery stores. Also, we are using a combination of different kinds of spices in here. We have paprika, cayenne pepper, ground cumin, thyme, granulated garlic, and onion powder. I will write down the measurements in the description box below. So then just combine the mixture, combine the spices together, just like that. Now I'm going to nicely season the venison roast. I'm not going to be adding a whole lot of salt on it because the other ingredients are pretty salty. So we have to be careful in adding the salt to the meat. So I am adding like half a teaspoon of salt, just drizzle it all around the meat, just like so. And I love the flavor of black pepper. So I'm gonna be using like 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Just make sure that all the sides of the meat is nicely seasoned. Then I'm adding the spices. I'm going to be using like 3/4 of that cup of spices on the meat, and we'll leave the quarter for the rest. I'll be using that remaining spice later on while I'll be cooking. Oh, also I will be preparing this recipe in Crock Pot. So I'm sorry I forgot to mention that early on to this video. So I'm just letting you all know that I'm going to be making this recipe in a crock pot. You can also use Instant Pot. The temperature and the timing is just going to vary, which I will mention it in the description box below. So after I added all the spices, I'm just gonna, rub the meat very nicely. Then I will let the meat rest for a minimum of 20 minutes. Now the skillet is nice and hot. I am adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil to it. You can add vegetable or canola oil. It does not really matter. You can add any oil of your choice except mustard oil. Then swirl around the oil a little bit. The skillet is pretty hot now and the temperature is on medium high. That is when I'm going to gently put the meat on the skillet. Just be careful handling the meat because it's pretty heavy. So I will cook each side of this meat for at least 1 minute to get that nice and golden color on top of that meat, just to have a little nice glaze on it. We are not wanting to cook the meat on this skillet, and even if we try to, we won't be able to cook the meat fully here because you see the size of this beast. Yes, it is like a beast, y'all. But yeah, listen, be very careful while you are flipping the piece because it's really heavy, and make sure the oil doesn't splatter on your hands or else you're gonna get a bad burn. So Just be careful while you are flipping the meat. And all we're looking forward to here is a nice coating, a nice brown seared coating. So I turned the gas off, and here is a crock pot now where I am adding 3 cups of chicken broth. Now you can replace the chicken broth with vegetable or beef broth. It's still going to come out fabulous. Then I will be adding the rest of the spices. So this is the onion dip. I'm using 1 packet of onion dip. And thanks to my mother-in-law, she's the one who actually introduced me to this spice while cooking this pot roast. And it just does some sort of magic in it, you know. It's so good. Thank you, Mom. And I'm adding 1 packet of that ranch salad dressing seasoning. 1 packet of that. And then I'm going to add that remaining of those spices. Then we give it a good mix. Now it's time for me to put the meat in the crock pot. There you go. And then I put the lid on it. Turn the temperature to high. And then I'm going to forget it for another 5 to 6 hours. In a traditional pot roast recipe, we normally use some vegetables with it, like celery, carrots, onion, and potatoes. We just throw in the vegetables while the meat is cooking. But in this recipe, I just kept it simple, so I didn't add any of those vegetables. But if you want, you can definitely add them. Okay, so 6 hours later, I'm back to the kitchen, and it looks like the meat is perfectly done. This is how I wanted my meat to be. Nice, soft, tender, and look how it is kind of falling off through the bones. That's how you know that, you know, the meat is ready, and the knife is easily going through to the big chunk of meat, so you know that the meat is ready. I usually love to serve it with mashed potatoes, but today I have boiled rice. That's why I will make me a plate right now with some boiled rice. But be very careful when you are cutting the piece off from this giant meat, because it's very hot and heavy. So be careful. Just look at that piece. Look at that piece of that meat. Oh my goodness. This is really good. It's so good. It's rich. It's extremely flavorful, and just see how tender the meat is. Like, as soon as I touch the meat with the spoon, the meat is falling off, like coming apart. That's how you know that the meat is gonna be so flavorful and delicious. It is so good. I will truly encourage you to try this recipe out, and just write on the comment below how you have liked it. I promise you, you will not regret after trying this recipe. It's such an easy recipe, and it cooks for so many number of people in your house. Like this meat, I will be feeding 7 people in this house, and we'll still have some leftovers. So do try this recipe out and let me know how you have liked it. Thank you so much for watching my videos and liking and sharing my videos. Thank you all so much. You have a great day. God bless you, and keep watching my videos. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Love you.